Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to Gemini Channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid. Rules can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play as karmic themes, help you understand why you're attracting who you're attracting, why things are playing out the way that they are. Right? A lot of times we know that the person has feelings for us, but we don't know why it looks the way that it does. And what's really important is not really to figure out why the person's doing what they're doing. A lot of times the real spiritual thing is why you're attracting that person into your life and what you can do to stop the karmic cycles. When we are talking about karmic mate, a past life karmic mate, when we're doing shadow readings, that's what we're really focused on. It doesn't mean that you won't meet a twin flame or a regular soul partner, but it's usually we're dealing with the past life karmic mate that feels like the twin flame, but a lot of times isn't the twin flame. So anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box, including my shadow healing coaching program. This is done in a group. It's done for $7.99. You cannot beat it. It has inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. Really important, because if you grew up in survival mode, you know that the way that you breathe is off. The thoughts that you think a lot of times are distorted due to the experiences that you lived. It's a survival mechanism that we sense out other things that are in our environment that actually correspond with the trauma that we've already lived as a way to keep us safe. We're continuously scanning the environment. We don't really know that we're doing it because it's all done subconsciously. But if we have a subconscious wound and we get triggered, then the reactions a lot of times are what keep us stuck in that place also, because the same habits and behaviorisms that you form to help you survive will most likely stop you from thriving, because you're not living in that same environment. You're not around the same person. It's your environment that creates your reality. So thankfully, the body and mind are self-healing organisms, and God made you in its image. So you have the power to change your life. You're the alchemist of your life. So obviously the readings have a therapy style to them. So if you're not into that, you're not going to like this channel. But if you do like this channel, also check out my Virgo and Scorpio channel. And then I also have a vlog on my Psychic Soul Healer channel that I talk about different healing topics, different psychological blocks, and the behaviorisms that come with it. All right. Everything, again, you can find in the description box. Now, if you resonate with this video, please give it a like. Share, subscribe. It's good karma. All right, let's see what the underlying energy is. We always want to know what that energy is, because when people have, a lot of spiritual blocks, they wear masks, they create facades and illusions to make you think something that's not really what they think. Okay, so the underlying energy is nervousness. You're in separation from somebody that is really like thinks that it's over, is what I'm feeling. It's like they know that they pushed it. And the reason why is because they don't feel your energy anymore. They don't feel your energy around them like they used to feel your energy. I feel like this person took a chance, ghosted you, thought that you would come running. That's not what happened. I feel like what happened is you became intolerant to their self-righteous behavior because you saw it as nothing but negativity. This person thought that you were gonna, think that it was okay for whatever reason, and that's not what happened. You saw it as betrayal. You saw it as, like, again, that this person likes to play a lot of games. They like to play a lot of games. They thought that they were going to toy with you. Now let's see how they thought that they were going to toy with you. Now, not that it's really important to see, but we're able to see what your emotions are that came up. Okay, two just flipped over, so we're going to take it. So this person had a lot of time for their hobbies and other people and other interests. They didn't have time for you, and they purposely did it to try and trigger you. And you felt like your life was upside down because it was just an endless cycle of the same thing. It was just an endless cycle of the same thing, of this person manipulating, lying. I feel like they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. Like they would tell you partial stories and you were making your, decisions based on something that wasn't really concrete. It's like they wanted you to assume a lot, but then they wanted to do what they wanted to do. They just didn't want you to do what you wanted to do, one-sided. And then when you would bring it up to this person, they would withdraw. They're an avoidant on top of it. And then, just again, withdrawing and not being accountable. So the problem, ironically, always fell back onto you because you said something, because you weren't accepting the breadcrumbs. Well, this person, like I said, would punish you by stonewalling you, withdrawing. Like I said, this person like wanted you not to see the red flags. They wanted you to have clouded vision between the fact that there was a connection. And they really thought that that was going to work because, hey, that's worked before. Maybe not with you, but it's worked before. So this person was very cocky. Again, they were self-righteous. Almost, they just thought that you were going to react a certain way. And the thing is that what happened is that because this person never apologized to you, and they again would never address your concerns. They would withdraw. And then what would happen is they would wait some time until they thought that things would blow over, and then they'd come back into your life. And a lot of times you guys would pick up where it left off. And this is their normal pattern that they do. They usually date people. People have a problem with their behavior. They leave for a while. They go ghost. They stonewall. And then they mosey on back into the person's life. This time, you weren't laying things to rest because you said, no, you're going to apologize to me. You're going to acknowledge my feelings. And this person couldn't do it because they couldn't let themselves be that vulnerable. And they saw it as you were making them apologize, which made them weak. And again, they don't like to show their feelings or emotions. They don't want to be transparent. So again, they acted like they had time for everything else because this relationship would require them to go deep. And when you're holding a person's feet to the fire, well, that's the problem. This person sees now you're not. And they almost don't know how to deal with it. So they're acting like they don't care. They're wearing a poker face, trying to pretend that nothing's happening. But there a lot's happening because they're nervous. That's how the reading started. They're anxious because they already know they pushed this to the point that it can't return. And so they're trying to look at it almost like, well, conflicts are an opportunity for us to talk, almost to break up, to make up. So that's their usual relationship thing. So they're not really sure whether it's over or not. And it's, again, not because of what you're showing them. They know that they pushed it to a point, but they're not quite sure whether or not, they can convince you to, come to have a little compassion, and again, not based on who you are, but based on their previous experiences. But it's bothering them. And that's the thing. It's like, you're like, they know that they would have to come back and heal this, because now there's a lot of resentment. Like, they ruin the foundation of this relationship. There's the strong roots. So now they're going to try to like come back and create some strong roots. This is what they're trying to figure out in their head, and it actually makes them mad because again, you're holding their feet to the fire. They can't just mosey on back and pretend that, hey, like this didn't really happen when it did happen. So let's see how they feel, or what they are going to do, and then we'll look at the spiritual things that are happening. So let's see what they think. I am faced with constant reminders of you. Well, it's again, they didn't treat you right. And the thing is, you're like, I'm not letting it go. And you thought you were just going to mosey on back into my life. And that's not what's happening. You know, it's like, I don't want an unhealthy attachment. That's what this person is used to. They're used to unhealthy attachments, because a person that isn't emotionally open and doesn't face problems and runs away from problems and then just thinks that they're going to come back, there's a lot of resentment there. There's no foundation. There's no roots. Trust and intimacy are based on, you know, a person showing up every day, and this person doesn't do that. So, you know, but there's a part of them that's like, well, maybe you'll still take me back. You make me nervous. You make them nervous because, hey, there's strong feelings and you're not swaying, and you are going to call them out on their behavior. And that's what this person knows. So they just, again, thought that a lot of time would go by and that they would just, it wouldn't be like how it is now. I run away to avoid facing my problems. This came out twice. This person, again, like they're like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with what you have to say to me. I already know what I had to say, because again, then that's going to make them have to open up and explain to you why they're that way. And, you know, you might reject them. It's like, or again, it requires them to be vulnerable, and they don't want to do that. It's making them nervous. I feel lost without you, because there was still this spiritual connection, and now you're like not around them. That's why they're nervous. That's why the reading started that way. They're nervous because, hey, it's now or never. It's like now or never. And this person is like, I have to do something, and I'm mad that I have to do something, because there's a lot of anxiety. It's not really even because they're mad. It's more like anxiety, like a kid that has to tell their mother that, you know, or their father, that they skipped school and they got caught. And now there's punishment. You know, your parents not going to say, oh, that's okay that you know, skip school and flunk that test because you didn't show up. There's consequences. And then this person means I have to do something to fix it. Effort. And they're still toxic. So do they want to give up their toxic behavior? They are like, they know that they've unwillingly sabotaged this connection. So they're still stuck in what I did and what I have to do, and what I did and what I have to do. So this is definitely a past life karmic mate, someone that's not ready to take accountability. Doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They have feelings, but they're like, I pushed it to the point of no return. And I'm so afraid if I come back to you and you reject me. So the focus is more on their rejection and not fixing things. Again, that's how you know that they're in their ego. Person has to surrender their ego to get to a place of unconditional love. That means I don't really like what you're doing, but I'm still going to do it because it's actually the right thing to do. This person cares more about, again, being vulnerable and looking stupid, which is stupid. So I'm making changes for the better. So, I mean, maybe over time, that's what they're going to do, because it's starting to affect their mental health, because they're trying to control something that they shouldn't be trying to control. When the universe brings someone into your life to help you heal, and you mistreat them, and you think that it's not a big deal, well, guess what? It's like it becomes a big deal, and that's what you see here. This person's like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to have to go and apologize, but I also don't want to lose this person. I don't want to have to be vulnerable and show that part of myself. But if I don't, I'm going to lose this person. So it's, again, the universe has put them in this situation, and not because it's like saying, oh, well, you're the chosen one. You're supposed to be with this dysfunctional person. It's more like because you just happen to be the catalyst to help this person to heal, to help restore them. You don't have to, like, you have free will to do what you want. The shadow is that this person wants to control love. It's again, it's not about do I have feelings. It's I already did what I did. I don't know how to come back and repair it. Yes, you fucking do. You don't want to do what you have to do. That's what this person needs to get over, because they do know what they have to do. But it's like someone that's like, well, we could do this. No, I don't like that idea. Well, we could do, no, I don't like that idea. Because you want to be comfortable, but healing doesn't feel good. You're not going to be comfortable. So they're stuck. So the best thing that we can do is say, well, why did you attract this person into your life? Because really, at this point, this is where they are. And we can go back and forth forever. And, eventually they're going to work their courage up because, again, it's affecting them on an emotional level. But that doesn't mean they're coming back tomorrow. And it means that they're kicking and screaming, like doing it. And so they're probably not going to come back in a way that you really even like, if it's this energy, by the way, because there's still a lot of ego here. So it might be like, fancy meeting you here. I didn't realize you were going to be here today. When you're like, yeah, fuck face. I'm here every Tuesday. This is where I work every day. So you didn't know I was going to be here. Like, you don't know that I'm friends with this person. You don't know. You didn't know. It's like you knew, but you're not confident to actually verbalize what you need to verbalize to me. And it's like the person wants to, but it's again, it's the rejection, it's the abandonment, it's the vulnerability, it's the transparency that they have a problem with. So we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? Because you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And being that there's only two energies, love and fear, that's not enough. It's like, what fear do you feel insecure? Do you feel, again, like, were you bullied? Were you mistreated? Were you neglected? Or are you a bad person? Like, what's the energy? Because again, fear could be self-sabotaging energy. It could be someone that's really negative, someone that deliberately does shit, or just someone that's not aware. Naive, well, there we go. Inner child wounds from the trauma that you went through, again, of abandonment. Well, that's this person there for you, huh? Says it right there, inner childhood wounds. So again, the dance is a lack of being grounded, being able to go with the flow of life. The dance is really when we're dancing with the universe, right? How do you create your life? You co-create with the universe, because the universe brings you the people, situations, and experiences. They change your mind and your heart. But if you grew up in trauma where people always left, well, then you might find that you're gravitating towards people that are avoidant, like this person that just avoids facing their problems. They just can't, because again, might have had parents that avoided their problems. And so they couldn't really show up there for you, because and if we never deal with our trauma, well, then bigger traumas come. And those traumas lead to more traumas, and our habits and behaviorisms are built on those experiences. So it kind of just keeps us stuck in that trauma. And so of abandonment, where no one shows up, no one's there. You don't feel safe. And so that leaves a lot of space. And space is, hey, you're the creator of your life. You're the alchemist of your life. You can't get rid of negative energy. So if you grew up with trauma of abandonment, the only person that abandons anybody is you abandon yourself. Because God says, I'm inside of you. And when you go with another person that devalues you, well, then the universe, which is an extension of my energy, God says, because I made the universe, is going to bring you things that are going to teach you, well, why are you going to give your energy to someone that can't show up for you? Why aren't you showing up for you? You have to do it for you in order to get that. But if you were traumatized because you were abandoned, maybe you're hypersensitive to overgiving and overdoing and trying to be so nice and accommodating that you weren't accommodating and nice to yourself, is what Spirit says in this story. And when you give time to a person that's not giving back, that's a lot of empty time and a lot of space, right? And what do we do in that space? We either create something. We can't say that it's nothing. That's the problem. We can't just say, well, now that negative energy is gone. Spirit says it doesn't work that way. You have to put something in place. You have to transmute that negative energy. Even if your mind knows that it's different, you have to go through the experience and fully embody that new consciousness. So to change that energetic template, to change the magnetic frequency of what you attracted someone that was in alignment with your trauma, not someone that was in alignment with who you are and what you actually want. And so Spirit says, and that's because of abandonment of self, saying, well, I wanted that love, and this person came in and there was a connection, and there is a connection. Yeah, but this person is not healthy. And so Spirit says, yeah, but it's like you would have seen that they weren't healthy if you were had integrated this energy, because you would be in a different consciousness. And that consciousness would be, first of all, you'd say, this person's not giving me shit. I have friends. I met people. I went out into the universe, and Spirit brings me people, situations, and experiences. So I have support, emotional support. So you might have outgrown some of your friends, or you just feel like you've grown away from them. And Spirit says, well, then you have to join things. You have to meet people, because support comes from that. Because you get into a relationship, and if they're the only sense of your emotional fulfillment, you're going to give way too much. And you have to teach a person on how you want to be treated. So you can't give them too much. They have to earn it. And they have to earn it by how they treat you. Otherwise, you're just a giver. You just give, and there's nothing left. And Spirit says, you can't do that. So it's time to get the friends, foundation. That's a good foundation. Understand that it's a stepping stone. Like this relationship isn't like just because they're coming back. I don't think that they're healthy. And understand that this situation isn't a forever situation, is what Spirit's saying. It's learning. Can you have your time? Yeah, if you want to, but I don't think it's going to be easy with this person. They have a ways to go before they surrender their ego. It was more to help you transform that negative energy, not to really go back with that. But could you? Yeah, you have free will, but Spirit says you wouldn't like it. Because, again, if you transform the energy, then you're in a different consciousness, and you're not going to be a magnetic match because you're going to say this person can't give me what I want emotionally because they don't show up. They avoid facing their problems. And, relationships have problems. It's just what happens. And it's not because it's bad, but because you're not dealing with someone that thinks the same way. Spirit doesn't bring you a person that thinks the way that you think. You might have a lot in common, but what you'll notice is this person's very logical, and I tend to be not as logical. I might be more spiritual, and this person's really good with math, and I'm not good with math. I'm more creative. They're different strengths, because Spirit says, I have to teach you, and you have to learn about different energies. So I'm going to pair you up with someone that, hey, you actually want to. And that's not going to be with someone ugly. You have to be attracted to the person to even consider it. And if they have problems, they have to be really good looking. But sometimes if they're really good looking and they have problems and they're a karmic, yeah, and then that's where the problems come into play. So Spirit says this situation was more to help you transform it to that trauma of the past and not control, meaning that you have to go with the flow of life. And that's only through the passion of life. This person represented passion, but they're not passion. They're more be like lust, because they're not elevated enough. But if you don't have any passions in your life, such as going out with friends and having a good time and, becoming you, well, you would be confused and you would think that that was unconditional love, is what Spirit says. And that's why the person was a karmic and not real thing, even though they think that they're doing some healing. Spirit says, yeah, they're gonna evolve a little bit, but they're not gonna evolve up to your level. I mean, in their dreams. In their dreams. I get it. You leave them in a better state than how you found them, but they're not on your level, is what Spirit says. And so you'll be like, so now I don't wind up with anybody. And Spirit says, well, when you go through this and you begin to put the energy into yourself and you have friends and you have other passions, well, then you're attracting a person that actually it matches that energy. They're not codependent. This person's an avoidant. They're codependent. Anyone that avoids facing their problems means that they're going to be with a person that goes along with everything. And then who wants to be with a wet dish rag? Because that's what it is. The person doesn't have personality. This person doesn't want to be with a wet dish rag. That's what they're used to being with. They want to be with you, but they would have to rise on up. And what we see here is it's again, no, because it's like, look at this, pulled in the opposite direction. Like they sort of feel like they're being pulled. There is a force, okay? It's not like there isn't. They have a lot of anxiety, which how the reading started, because it's like now or never. So what Spirit is saying is they're gonna come like almost to you like sudden, and it's because they get so uncomfortable. Is they're so uncomfortable because what it is like you don't care anymore, and that's what they know. So even though they know that they took it too far and they don't want to fix this, they want to come back and they want to because they're uncomfortable. So it's like sudden, it's like as they're pulled in the opposite of direction to like where they were going this way, but they can't, their heart, they can't. But it's too late. So all that for that. So we have to say, well, then what the hell, Spirit? What the hell are you bringing this person back in for? Like, what is the point? What are we supposed to learn from that? Because that could be a little like irritating that the person comes back after the fact. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what are we supposed to learn from it? At this time, it could go either way. So like for some of you, you might take this person back, but I'm not really feeling that. And I feel like it was to make you stronger. It's to make you stronger. It's to make you like see this person. You got like a lot of spiritual power from it. So I feel like it's to see this person has to actually come back, and where you're like kind of rejecting them is what I feel like. It's almost like they never gave it closure. They would disappear and go ghost and then just figure that they can come back. This time it wasn't the same. So they thought, well, I'm not going to come back at all. Now they're uncomfortable. They come back, but now it's their karma because they decided to do this shit. They shot themselves in the ass, if that's even possible. I don't even know if that's possible, but they did it. Oh, but you know what? You'll bombshell booty. You can rewind it. You can watch it. But that's what happened. Can you get over it? Now this person is like gonna come back, and now I'm curious. I want to know. So now, what are they feeling? We're gonna pull for that too, because I'm nosy. After we see, okay, we're gonna see also. I'm just curious. I wanted like it's like what is this person? Did they learn their lesson? What is gonna go on? I want to get back together. Like that's how they land, but they're afraid. It's like they want to get back together. They would pursue it, but I feel like they know that you're gonna reject them, so they're like too afraid to do it. But they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back. But they might not be as open. Like I said, they might be like, fancy meeting you here, like some stupid shit like that, where you're like, or like, oh, I didn't mean to call you, my butt dialed you, or some stupid thing where you're like, you wanted to talk to me, but you don't want to make it look like you reached out, but you see, I'm not reaching out. So you get so uncomfortable that you just have to do something. So they might not be on the up and up just because on that openness with you. And so Spirit says it's just all about positive thinking, saying this wasn't really a waste. This relationship helped you transform just that old trauma, which allows you to attract new people, new energy into your life if you choose to. You could also look at this energy for those of you that say, well, I don't know what I would do with this person if they came back and they apologized and said, I really want to fix it. For those few, because it's a collective reading, Spirit says either way, it would be positive thinking. It would be that your life is full of small patches of light. You direct your thoughts to that which bring you well-being. Even when you're in a relationship and it's a good relationship, you have to do this. You have to, because life isn't perfect. There's a lot of parts of life that are sad. People die, people move away, there's disappointment. It's life. So Spirit says you always have to focus on the small patches of light and direct your thoughts to that which bring you well-being. Place what is weighty for you in the hands of the universe. Little by little, the light awakens in your being and you find serenity, because serenity comes from being good with yourself. And so this person, if they have the power to like affect your mind, well, really Spirit says they shouldn't and no one should. So you might have been paired up with a person that, you know, deliberately came in to try and affect your the way that you think. And Spirit says you're in control. Doesn't matter what goes on in the environment. It's how you deal with it. And you dealt with this beautifully, because now they're uncomfortable and now they have to come back, and you leave them, like we said, better than how you found them. So even if you wanted to be in a connection, this person would like try. You just wouldn't be on your vibration. And being in a relationship with someone that's not on your vibration is frustrating, because it's like being with someone that's really immature, someone that, so you would continually be triggered, feeling like, traumatized, like you don't show up for me, you're abandoning me, where this person just isn't on your vibration. I'm going to leave that there. Don't forget to give me a like, give me love, check out all the links in the description box, and I'll see you soon, Gemini. I love you guys. Bye.